Has anybody seen the previews yet for this new Battleship movie? I found out about this. I knew they were going to make this film. It's been some months back when I first found out that they were making a film based on the board game. And it seemed like, an okay idea to me. I was thinking, it's a board game where the object of the game, you have two players, no more than two players, just two players. And you're competing against each other to see who can sink the other's fleet first. I don't know, I haven't been in the toy section lately. I don't know what Milton Bradley's version of Battleship is now, but I can tell you that when I was a kid, it was just, you had the two little plastic grid things that opened up, and you had the little green grids, and you put your ships on there, because me and my brother used to play it all the time when we were little. Okay, but my memory is really bad, but I don't recall any hidden alien transformer-ish spaceships hidden underneath my grid when I used to play Battleship as a kid. Me and my girlfriend went to see the Star Wars in 3D this past weekend, and one of the previews that they had was for this new Battleship movie that was coming out. And to me, from what I saw in the preview, there's nothing in that film that's even remotely related to the board game. I don't even see how the film is based on the board game, to me. I mean, the only thing that is in the film that was in the game is the ships. The ships that are at sea is the only thing. And even then, it's only one side. It's not two sides fighting each other. It's just these group of ships fighting off these bad guys, these aliens that are hidden underneath the sea, and these, it's just this, it becomes this huge CGI overload. I got bombarded with CGI. To me, it was like Transformers again. Because honestly, when the trailer first, I'll watch the trailer for it. With the first few scenes of the trailer, it's saying something about something hidden underneath the ocean for a long time or whatever. And I thought it was another Transformers film. I'm not even going to lie. I thought it was another Transformers film. And then after I saw the water and everything, I realized, I bet this is a Battleship film. And how does this pass as a... I mean, granted, I'm sure that they had to come up with somewhat of a storyline. If you're going to make... you have to be very creative to make a film, based on a board game that's usually over within, 30 minutes. But... if you're going to make a film based on the board game, let's at least try to keep it about the board game. It's a bad idea to begin with. I think it was a stupid idea. Okay, it worked for Jumanji, but it's killer on Battleship. Okay, it doesn't work. Okay, because the game is too short and too simplistic. I mean, honestly, you cannot make a film out of a game like that without ditching everything that the game is about and coming up with something completely new, okay? And normally, I gripe about that. I gripe about there's not enough creativity in the media today, in entertainment, okay? This is one of those rare times where I disagree with them coming up with something original, because the whole idea was to base the film on the board game, okay? And when you come up with something completely new, it has nothing to do with the board game, then you're not making a film based on a board game, okay? Why not? They could have named the film anything. It didn't have to be Battleship. It could have been Who Sunk My Destroyer, or Aliens at Sea, or Hidden Under the Deep, or so. It could have been anything like that, okay? You honestly, you could have named that film anything, okay? But not Battleship. It's not anything to do with the board game. None, okay? Nowhere in the film do they fire a series of salvos to try to sink hidden enemy ships, or honestly, there's nothing to do with the game. There's no calling any shots like A1, D4, which could have been worked into the story, because if you're going to come up with a fictional world, you could design some sort of targeting mechanism that these ships would use, where the grid format that the board game used could be worked into the story. All right, and I'm a pretty creative guy, but the whole premise behind the board game is you can't see your opponent's ships, so you don't know where they're at. You have to find them, and they can't see your ships, so they have to find yours. So not only are you trying to sink your opponent's fleet, you're trying to find it as well. And if I sat in front of a computer long enough with a word processor open, I'm pretty sure I could come up with a very decent storyline for a film about a fleet of ships, looking for another hidden fleet of ships. Without having to, incorporate a storyline of hidden aliens underneath the water or anything like that. It's just, that's been bugging me ever since the trailer came out. I mean, I knew that it was going to be a fluke when I first heard about them making a film based on the board game Battleship, but when I found out that it was going to be this crazy, off the wall, end of the world, Transformers, aliens thing under the sea, it ruined it for me. I mean, I love Battleship. I'd still play it now, if I knew where my boards were. But I'll play it online or something. But I have it on Super Nintendo. I have it on regular Nintendo. I still play it, because I used to love that game as a kid, and it's still fun to play for me now. But there's no aliens in Battleship, unless you're playing the Star Wars version of it, which I have. But even then, it's not hidden aliens under the sea. Why was that introduced in the story? Somebody tell me that. Why was the entire premise of the board game ditched for a storyline that has nothing to do with the board game? Okay? If you're going to do that, why call it Battleship? Why call it Battleship and say that this film is based on the board game? It's because some idiots that don't know any better are going to go see it because they love the board game that much. Okay? But I have such an eye for authenticity that I can see that there's nothing to do with the game. Absolutely nothing. So it just ruined it for me. I'm not going to see it because it's no point. Okay, it's not a movie to me about two fleets trying to seek each other. All right, it's about a film where the whole thing was just it went right over my head. I don't understand their thinking on that. I don't understand why. Of all the things they could have came up with, if they had to come up with an original storyline to keep a film based on a board game afloat for 2 hours, of all the things they could have come up with, it had to be, Armageddon aliens under the sea. It's pretty much Independence Day again is what it is. All right, that's why I hate it so much. It's because in the previews it looks like Independence Day again. And I'm so tired of these apocalyptic end of the world movies. We get one every year. We get two sometimes a year. And it was great when Independence Day came out, okay, but it's getting old. All right, let's try coming up with something completely new, something that is not based on a board game, okay? But honestly, I mean, no one can argue that the Battleship film that's coming out is not based on the board game, all right? Because there's nothing in there that's about the board game, all right? So that's my take on the Battleship. I recently I finally got around to watching Where the Wild Things Are, and I read the book as a kid. I have the book, and I'm going to be doing a video on that right after I finish this one.